The Water Margin, Chapter 4.
Lu Da, after committing this capital offense, he's exhausted, he's hiding, and he is completely exposed.
And the source puts him in this truly terrifying spot. I mean, he's standing directly in front of his own wanted poster.
Can you imagine?
Just reading it, like casually browsing, you can almost feel the danger coming off the page.
It's either incredible arrogance or sheer desperation, maybe both. And the stakes are huge. The bounty is 1,000 yuan. That's a serious amount of money back then, enough to change lives. And the poster, it's got everything: age, appearance, where he's from.
Scary specific.
Totally. But here's the crazy thing, the real irony. This dangerous detour. The moment he stops to look at his own death warrant, that's exactly what triggers his salvation.
It's perfect, isn't it? Because the person who saves him is the one who owes him everything. Just as he's taking in the details of this bounty, someone grabs him.
Right.
And it's old man Jin Lao, the father of the woman Lu Da saved. His distress is what kicked off this whole lethal confrontation in the first place.
It's like poetic justice, but, in reverse.
Yeah.
Jin Lao sees the danger instantly, pulls him aside, whispering something like, "Enforcer, you're way too bold. There's a poster offering 1,000 yuan right there. What are you doing reading it? Trying to turn yourself in."
But hang on, how did Jin Lao even end up there? Wasn't he supposed to be heading back towards Tokyo after the incident?
Well, Jin Lao explains that. He was actually afraid to return south. Really scared. He worried that the cronies of the man Lu Da killed, Zheng Tu, would come after him for revenge.
Yeah.
He felt totally vulnerable.
Okay, that makes sense.
So instead of going back, he traveled north with an old neighbor, a merchant. And this move, meant to avoid danger, just happens to put him in the right place at the right time to save Lu Da.
And their situation now, it's completely different. Which brings us to the daughter. It's like a perfect before and after.
Oh, absolutely.
When Lu Da last saw her, she was facing misery, exploitation. Now she's been elevated. She's the wise high, sort of an outside resident or concubine of a wealthy local guy, Zhao Yuanwei, patron Zhao.
And the text really emphasizes this transformation. It doesn't hold back.
Right.
She's described as Nong Huangyanshu, basically. Richly dressed, heavily adored, just radiating wealth and security.
Yeah, let's pause on that description. The details really paint a picture of her social climb. Green sleeves, cherry mouth, slender waist. But the detail that really jumps out, for me anyway, is the mention of her golden lotuses, the Jinlian.
Exactly, the Jinlian. That's a direct reference to her bound feet. And that wasn't just, a fashion thing.
Right.
In that society, foot binding was a marker of luxury, extreme social elevation. It showed she wasn't a common working woman anymore. She was high status. And that entire journey from victim to luxury symbol, it's all down to Lu Da's lethal intervention.
And their gratitude is just immense, overwhelming. They immediately set up this huge feast, fresh fish, tender chicken, roasted goose, seasonal fruits, everything.
It works.
And they don't just say thanks, they kneel. Repeatedly. They explain they used to burn incense every day to thank him when he wasn't there, but now that he's here in person, they have to bow even deeper.
It's almost religious, that level of debt. And that intense gratitude, that's the currency that fuels his survival here.
But it also sets up the next crisis, right?
Right.
Because this night of celebration suddenly turns terrifying.
Precisely. Here's where it gets really interesting. 1 minute they're celebrating, the next, bam, crisis.
So they're having this feast, thanking him, and then suddenly, what? 30, 40 guys with white wooden clubs surround the place?
Yeah, just like that. Led by a man on horseback yelling, "Don't let the thief escape."
Whoa. And Lu Da, being Lu Da, he grabs a stool, ready to fight his way out again.
He's always ready for a fight, isn't he? It really captures that fugitive life. Feast 1 minute, fight for your life the next. But Jin Lao, he quickly runs downstairs to talk to the guy on the horse.
And the tension just breaks.
Instantly. Because the mounted official, the leader of this posse, it's Zhao Yuanwei himself.
No way. The rich patron? The daughter's benefactor.
The very same. It turns out it was all a big misunderstanding. Zhao thought Jin Lao was hiding some young lord upstairs, maybe someone bothering his concubine's family, or just someone suspicious.
Okay.
So he brought his household guys, his servants, to sort things out. But once Jin Lao explains, no, this rough-looking fella is the great hero who saved my daughter, the one we burn incense for. Well, Zhao just laughs.
He laughs.
Yeah, laughs. And tells his men to back off immediately.
That pivot is incredible. So Zhao Yuanwei realizes who he's dealing with, and instead of treating Lu Da like a wanted criminal,
he treats him like a hero, a celebrity. He gets off his horse, kneels, and says this amazing line: "Hearing is not as good as seeing. Seeing is better than hearing. Righteous hero, please accept my salute."
Wow, So the legal status wanted murderer just gets completely wiped away by righteous hero.
Obliterated.
Yeah.
Instantly. And the two men, Lu Dan and Zhao Yuanwei, they just hit it off. Right away.
So they don't talk about, the whole wanted thing?
Nope. They drink until midnight. They talk about the killing of Xin Tu. Seems like neither of them like the guy much, and they compare spear techniques.
Wait, seriously, they bond over spear techniques. They just met after Zhao almost had him beaten up.
Yeah. But that shared interest, that martial connection, it seems to create this immediate bond.
Does that suggest that maybe, shared martial skill or this code of honor was a stronger connection than even family ties? Or definitely stronger than state law?
I think it absolutely does. This alliance shows the power of personal connections, shared honor, especially among the local gentry and martial arts types. It's like they operate in a parallel system of justice.
A protective bubble.
Exactly. Lu Da's wanted status just becomes secondary to his reputation as this righteous, maybe even vigilante hero. Zhao clearly respects that. He doesn't hesitate. Invites Lu Da straight to his private manor, Seven Treasures Village, Qibao Kun, for proper sanctuary.
So Lu Da goes from sleeping rough, basically, to being an honored guest in a fancy manner. But that bubble doesn't last long, does it?
No, it proves pretty porous. After maybe 5-7 days at the village, Jin Lao shows up again, and this time he's in a total panic.
Why? What happened?
Well, remember that commotion back in town? When Zhao Yuanwei brought out all his guys with clubs?
Yeah.
That stirred things up, caused suspicion, and now the official legal system is catching up. The state's machinery is grinding close.
So the police are onto him.
Yep. 3 or 4 police runners. The text calls them Zugongdei. They're intensely investigating the whole neighborhood, asking questions. They're closing in, tracking Lu Da towards the village.
So the manor isn't safe anymore. The temporary fix failed. They need something permanent, something foolproof.
And Zhao Yuanwei, showing his resourcefulness and connections again, comes up with just the plan. Monkhood. Mandatory monkhood.
Monkhood, shave his head, wear robes, the whole deal.
The whole deal. But this isn't just any old temple. Zhao is leveraging the absolute peak of his social and religious network here. This is about creating an untouchable sanctuary.
Okay, tell us about the place. It's not random, you said.
Not at all. The location is Wutai Mountain, about 30 miles away. It's famous, a sacred site for Manjushri Bodhisattva. The specific temple is Wenshu Monastery.
And the connection?
It's airtight. The abbot there, Elder Master Zizhen, he's Zhao Yuanwei's foreign brother. Plus, Zhao's ancestors were major patrons of the temple for generations. Shizu Tanyu, the text calls them. There's this inherited debt of loyalty.
So they basically have to take him in.
Pretty much ensures protection, yeah.
Good.
But here's the really crucial bit, the document. Zhao didn't need to apply or anything. He already had the paperwork ready to go.
He already had it. What paperwork?
That's the real power move.
Yeah.
He has a ready-made 5-flower ordination certificate, a Wuhua Du Dai.
Okay, what exactly is that?
Think of it like a bureaucratic voucher. It officially allowed someone to become an ordained monk. And critically, being an ordained monk made you legally exempt from certain state duties and, crucially here, criminal prosecution. Zhao apparently had this certificate, maybe from some vow or obligation he fulfilled for someone else, and he was just waiting for a trusted person to give it to.
So hold on, this isn't about Lu Da suddenly finding religion or wanting spiritual enlightenment.
Not at all.
It's a legal loophole, a bureaucratic bypass provided by the elite. Powerful families like Zhao's could treat ordination almost like a transferable asset.
That's a good way to put it. It bypasses any need for actual spiritual qualification. The paperwork is the qualification. It essentially turns the monastery into a high-security safe house, guaranteed by religious status and elite connections.
Okay, but that raises a big question.
Yeah.
Thoreau, he's a rough guy, right? A killer. Drinks wine, eats meat. He's the absolute opposite of a disciplined monk. Why does he agree so quickly?
Well, his reasoning is pure pragmatism. It's incredibly simple.
What does he say?
He basically says, where else can I possibly hide? Might as well go along with this. He sees no other real option.
Nowhere else is safe.
Exactly. And Zhao sweetens the deal by offering to pay for everything, the travel, new robes, gifts for the monastery, all expenses covered. It's a perfect, fully funded, state-proof sanctuary package.
You can't really argue with that offer when you're facing execution.
Not really, no. So they pack up the essentials, silk for gifts, money for expenses, the certificate, and they head off.
And the source gives this really vivid description of Wutai Mountain as they arrive, doesn't it? Sets the scene for this new life. Yeah.
It does. It sounds majestic. Yeah. Clouds covering the peak, a waterfall like a silver river, towering pines. Yeah. You know, this epic, sacred, beautiful landscape.
Lu Da showing up with his sponsor, Zhao Yuanwei, the squire.
Okay.
They meet the temple administrators, the Dusi and Jianzi, sort of the managers, and the main abbot, Elder Zen.
And this isn't just any old temple. The text calls it a great monastery, right?
Yeah.
The Dacha.
It really is. And the description they give, it's almost otherworldly.
So why paint such a pure, almost perfect picture before letting Lu Da loose in it? What's the point?
Well, I think it really cranks up the tension, you know? It shows the impossible gap between this ideal world and the guy who's about to crash into it.
The description has gates against green mountains, halls way up in the clouds.
The bell tower connects to a moon cave.
Yeah.
It's very poetic and establishes this as a genuine sanctuary, a place of, like, deep purity.
And then you get those details, almost mythical stuff. White apes bringing fruit.
Tapping on a woodfish with stones, yeah.
And yellow deer offering flowers to the Buddha. It's like peak harmony.
Purity itself. It gives
Yeah.
you the baseline. This is what monastic life should be.
Okay, so into this perfect scene walks the sponsor, Zhao Yuanwei.
And he explains why he's there. He made a vow, apparently, ages ago, to sponsor a monk.
And his candidate, his cousin Lu, a former military man.
Right, Guan Chun Han Chu Shan. And the story is he wants to leave the hardship of the mortal world behind.
But it feels a bit more like a transaction here.
Oh, it absolutely is. Zhao brings the leverage. He promises to cover everything: robes, shoes, supplies, the lot.
And he asks the elder to take Li Da based on his, what was it, his thin face?
His Bomyan. Basically his reputation and status. It's pure sponsorship.
Mm.
Using influence, and probably a hefty donation implied, to push this totally unsuitable guy into a sacred place.
Which naturally doesn't go down well inside the monastery walls.
Not at all. The sources show the administrators, the chief monk included, they immediately try to shut it down privately.
What is it about Lu Da himself? Is it just his background, or?
It's his whole vibe. They literally say he doesn't have the look of a monk. He's described as ugly and ferocious. Xingrong Qing, a Mao Xing Xingwan. Wow, okay.
And their worry is pretty practical. They think he'll eventually harm the monastery, Leiji Shanmen, like cause actual trouble, maybe financial ruin or physical damage.
Yep.
They see it coming.
But the abbot, Elder Zen, he just overrules them. Now I have to ask, is this purely spiritual insight after his meditation? Or is that generous sponsorship maybe playing a role? The text calls it protecting a fault.
That's the core tension, isn't it? The text plays it straight, mostly. Elder Zen performs a ritual, burns incense, goes into deep meditation, Ruding, for the time it takes an incense stick to burn.
Right.
So on the surface, it suggests the prophecy he comes back with is genuine, or at least presented as such. It's not just a casual decision.
And the prophecy itself is pretty stunning.
It is. He says Lu is destined for a heavenly star, Shang Ying Qian, and that underneath it all, he has an upright heart, Sindigang Si.
That's the huge contradiction.
Exactly. The elder admits Lu is ferocious and chaotic right now, but he foresees this incredible future, pure state and extraordinary true enlightenment, Zheng Gongfa Fan. And he tells the other monks, Lu's potential is way beyond theirs. They cannot compare to him.
Which basically forces their hand. They have to accept this guy who embodies everything they don't want, all because of some future promise.
It really makes you, the listener, think. Does destiny just override everything else in this story? Even terrible behavior right now?
The other monks clearly aren't convinced. They agree, but yeah, the text says they feel the elder is just covering for the donor. You don't. Protecting a fault.
Still, they go ahead with it. Destiny, or maybe the donation, wins.
Elder Zen picks a date, gets everyone together, 500 or 600 monks in the Dharma Hall. It's a big event.
Right, let's get to the ordination itself. Because the humor here really underscores how badly this is going from the start.
That definitely. The shaving part. It should be about detachment, right? Letting go of the self.
But Lu Da literally tries to haggle over his mustache.
Yes. He asks them to leave these few strands for me, your servant. That would be good. It's just so lewd.
And the text says the other monks could barely keep from laughing out loud. Zong Sung Ren Xiao Buzu. You can just picture it.
It shows how absurdly unprepared he is for this life. He's trying to negotiate the terms of spiritual surrender.
Elder Zen isn't having it, though. He quotes a verse. Not an inch of grass remains. The six senses are purified.
And orders it all shaved off. Jinji Tiklu. He's imposing the symbolism, even if Lu doesn't get it.
So the Lu Da look is gone. Physically, at least. Then comes the new name.
Jishen. Jishen, which means wisdom deep.
Ah, the irony. Or maybe the hope.
Both, probably. The verse the elder uses suggests this wisdom is hidden like a flash of spiritual light worth 1,000 pieces of gold.
Deep down, maybe.
Then the vows, the really important stuff. 3 refuges, 5 precepts.
Non-killing, non-stealing, non-adultery. And the crucial one for our friend Zishen, not to be greedy for wine, Tanjin. And his response to these incredibly serious, life-changing promises.
It's classic Liu Da. No formal Zen response. He just blurts out, I remember all this HUTDG, like he's memorizing orders.
Which makes the monks laugh again. He treats sacred vows like a checklist.
He just doesn't have the framework. He hasn't grasped the meaning behind any of it.
So, ordination complete. Xiao Yuan Wai is leaving, but gives one last warning.
A pretty pointed one, too. He tells Zishen basically, behave yourself, don't get arrogant.
And he warns that if Zishen messes up, the friendship, the sponsorship, it's over.
Zishen just agrees easily. I will obey all of it. Of course he does.
Because words like obedience and restraint probably mean something totally different to him.
Exactly. So he begins his new life in the monks' quarters, the Buddhist selection area, and the chaos. Well, it starts immediately.
How immediate are we talking?
Like day 1. The text says he just flops down on the meditation platform, hang the war shizi, dao zai chun chuang shang, and sleeps, snoring like thunder. Birule sing.
So much for quiet contemplation.
But it's not just the physical disruption, it's how he talks back. The other monks try to gently correct him, nudge him towards meditation.
Using polite Buddhist terms.
Right, they say shanzai, meaning good or excellent, and Zishen just mocks it. He says he'd rather be eating soft-shelled turtles, tuanyu.
Oh, wow.
And when they use kuye, meaning bitter, like acknowledging hardship.
He talks about the turtle again.
Yep. Says the turtle is fat and sweet, fei tianlai, he. He's actively taking their spiritual language and twisting it into talk about food and pleasure.
He's basically refusing to even learn their language, let alone their way of life.
And then comes the hygiene issue, which is maybe the most shocking part.
Right, the text mentions defecation.
Behind the Buddha hall, urinating and defecating beyond dushi everywhere. It's not just messy, it feels like a deliberate act of, defilement. Staking his physical reality right onto their sacred space.
So the monks complain, obviously. They say he has no monk dignity. Chujiren Timian.
But Elder Zen just holds the line. He mentions Zhao Yuanwai's sponsorship and falls back on the prophecy. He will, later, change.
The whole monastery is basically held captive by this prophecy.
Pretty much. They have to put up with this absolute nightmare because he's supposedly destined for greatness.
How long does this initial phase last?
Maybe 4 or 5 months. Then it shifts to early winter. Chuzhung Tianqi.
And Zishen's getting restless.
Deeply restless. Jinjing Sidong. He's thinking about the good wine and good meat he's missing, feeling starved dry. E de ganbi le.
Uh-oh. You can see where this is heading. He's setting himself up to break that big vow.
And wouldn't you know it? Temptation arrives. A vendor comes up the mountain.
Carrying wine.
2 buckets full. And he's singing this, historical ballad about a famous battle and tragedy, or kind of highbrow setup for what follows.
Zishen wants to buy some, but the vendor refuses.
Flat out refuses. He's terrified. He explains the elder has a strict rule, a fate no selling wine to monks. He says he'll be punished, lose his business, his home. Kill me, I still won't sell.
That sounds pretty definitive. But this is Liu Zishen we're talking about.
Exactly. Rules, authority, pleading. None of that works. He doesn't argue. He just reacts with force.
What does he do?
Grabs the vendor's carrying pole, the bingdan, and just kicks the guy. Hard. Between the legs. Geo Dungtees.
Oof, brutal.
Leaves the poor guy doubled over, totally incapacitated. That's it. The end of any pretense of monastic life, right there. He's broken the peace vow. And now
He takes the wine.
drinks nearly a whole bucket. Cold wine, lung jing. Then casually tells the vendor, come get your money tomorrow at the temple.
As if...
Right. The vendor is more scared of the monastery finding out and losing his livelihood, his Yifan, than he is about getting paid. He grabs the other bucket and just bolts down the mountain.
That says a lot about the elder's authority, which Zishen just completely ignored and physically overrode.
Absolutely. He's a new monk just initiated, but he's already broken that huge rule. No alcohol.
And the source says the wine is surging up inside him. Jingyo Yang Shanglai.
Surging up. That doesn't sound like a nice little buzz.
No, it sounds like a force of nature.
Oh.
Like something unstoppable. That phrase really suggests a kind of tidal wave of everything he's been suppressing just being let loose. All that discipline the elder tried to instill, just washed away by the drink.
And the change is immediate. You can almost see it.
Totally visual, and that's fascinating.
So, okay, let's walk through this descent. First thing he does, rejects the monk identity, right? He rips off the outer robe, the zazi nooch.
And ties the sleeves around his waist, almost like he's getting ready for a fight, turning it into a kind of kilt.
And doing that reveals
His past, the famous huzi, the tattoos covering his back. It's not just taking off a costume. It's like he's peeling back a layer to show the truth underneath. The robe feels like a lie in that moment, and tattoos, well, they feel like the real him.
And the way they describe his drunkenness, it's intense. Head heavy, feet light, eyes red, face crimson.
Yeah, and he's not just stumbling. He sways like a crane in the wind. Or even better, a snake leaving the water.
That's not really human movement, is it? It sounds almost elemental, unpredictable.
Completely. And then the words start. And it's not just slurring or shouting.
No, he goes straight for the top, cursing celestial powers.
Right. He's calling out the Marshal of the Canopies, Team Peng Yuan Shui, and then the judges down in hell, the Kuming Peng Wan. He's challenging the whole cosmic order, not just the monastery rules.
It's like he sees himself as bigger than all of it.
And then he gives himself that title.
Oh, yeah. The naked, drunk devil, an arsonist, murderer, flowery monk. Lu Qingqi, Tinzui Mujun, Fan Hong Sharen Hua Shang. He's just owning every possible sin.
It's an incredible declaration. And it runs smack into the monastery's rules, which are posted right there.
What were the exact consequences again for drinking?
40 strikes with a bamboo cane. And expulsion. No messing around.
Okay, pretty severe.
But it's the other rule that really shows you the atmosphere. The gatekeepers, the mensling, if they let a drunk monk in,
They get punished too.
10 strikes. Just for doing their job badly, I guess. It tells you how much pressure there was to keep things under control. Fear was part of the system.
So these poor gatekeepers see this tattooed cursing whirlwind coming at them. They must have been terrified.
Absolutely. And they try to warn him off, like, hey, remember the rules. But that old nature, that Juxing, it doesn't do warnings.
It just reacts.
With force. He screams something like, you want to hit me, I'll fight you, then a slap, a punch, and both gatekeepers are down.
Just like that, rules gone.
Pulverized. In seconds. It's pure dominance.
And that's the trigger for the full-on riot, isn't it? The supervisor sees this isn't just one monk breaking rules.
No, this is like an invasion. So they call it the reinforcements, 30, maybe 40 people, workers, sedan carriers, servants.
Armed with wooden clubs.
Yeah, basically makeshift weapons. White wooden clubs. They technically outnumber him massively.
But it doesn't matter.
Not against Lu Zixin. His reputation alone is terrifying. He just lets out this huge roar. Daigou Li Yishang. The text says it's like thunder.
And the crowd
Breaks. They panic. Retreat into the Sutra Hall. The Kang Dian try to lock the door.
a flimsy lattice door, though.
Exactly. He smashes through it, punch, kick, grabs one of their clubs and starts driving them back out. He's turned this sacred hall into, well, his personal fighting arena.
Complete chaos until the elder steps in, the abbot.
Right, the highest authority. And this part is interesting, too. Even drunk, Lu Zixin recognizes him.
And stops.
Instantly. Drops the club, bows, but then, almost in the same breath, he blames the others. They started it. They attacked me first.
Classic drunk logic. Always the victim.
Always justified. But the elder's reaction, that's where it gets complicated. Why pardon him after all that?
Yeah, the destruction, the violence, breaking the biggest rule.
Politics. Plain and simple. The elder actually says it's because of the patron, Sa Yuanwei, his influence, his connections.
So money talks, even in a monastery.
It seems so. The elder sort of waves it away, hoping Zixin will eventually achieve Zhenggong, positive attainment, enlightenment down the line. But right now, keeping the patron happy is more important than enforcing the rules.
Wow. That's quite the statement about the institution.
It really lays the hypocrisy bare.
Yeah.
And the other monks, they see it immediately.
What do they say?
They basically scoff, call the elder unreasonable, ishjit mei fensi nore changleng sanya. They know this isn't real mercy, it's weakness. It makes the rules seem meaningless for everyone else.
So after all that explosion, we get the morning after, and it's kind of weirdly quiet at first. He's just sleeping.
Sleeping deeply. Hushudishwila. Like an animal, really. Then when they finally wake him, he just runs out barefoot.
And then there's that final detail.
Oh, yes. The attendant finds him behind the Buddha hall, defecating.
Right. That can't be accidental in the story.
No way. It feels deliberate. like a final, almost grotesque shedding of any religious dignity. It's base, it's animalistic, it's a physical insult to the sacred space.
So, after that low point, the elder finally gives him the formal lecture, lists the 5 precepts again: no killing, stealing, lust, wine, lying. Runs through the damage report.
Broken door, beaten gatekeepers, terrified workers. And he asks them, how could you?
And Lu Zixuan's response:
Mealing? Simple. Jing fan bu gin le. This time I dare not again.
This time. Doesn't sound very convincing.
Not at all. It sounds like a kid caught red-handed. He takes the new robe, the shoes, all the external signs of being a monk again, but you just know nothing inside has actually changed.
And we know because the story immediately gives us that poem about wine, like a commentary track.
Right, and this is where we get that core idea. The poem says all over evil, guo, comes from wine. Okay, standard enough.
But then the twist.
The big one. Wine does not intoxicate men. Men intoxicate themselves. Jing bezui, ren zui jingle. It puts the responsibility squarely back on the person, not the drink.
And the poem also notes that wine can make things happen, Chengxi, or ruin things, Baishi, and it gives courage to the timid.
Exactly. For a normal person, maybe wine gives them a bit of Dutch courage. Maybe that's the Chengxi. But Lu Zixuan, he's not timid.
Not even slightly.
He had this high spirit, Jingo. For him, wine doesn't create courage, it just opens the floodgates to destruction. It removes the brakes. He goes from contained power to, catastrophe.
So the wine isn't really the cause of the problem.
It's more like the catalyst, the trigger. It just lets loose what's already there, that fundamental nature the elder's words and vows couldn't touch.
So he gets the lecture, makes the promise, and things quiet down. For a bit.
Yeah, the sources say 3 or 4 months he stays sober, stays inside the temple walls, which, when you think about it, must have been like being caged.
Especially for him.
Immense pressure building up. Then the weather changes, it gets warm, 2nd month, and he just steps outside, sees the world again.
Hears the sounds from the valley, smells the air.
And he heads down, finds this market town just outside the monastery gates. 500, maybe 700 homes, shops, inns, noodle places.
Meat stalls, wine shops.
Everything he's been denied. And his first thought tells you everything. I knew this place was here. Why didn't I come sooner?
He says he's been parched, right? Aode.
Yeah, like literally suffering, longing for a drink. It's purely physical, that craving.
But interestingly, he doesn't go for the wine first this time.
No. He goes to the blacksmith, the Dijao.
And the blacksmith is immediately suspicious. Sees the beard, the fierce look.
Knows that this isn't your average monk looking for, a new bell. Lu Zixuan asks for weapons, specifically a Zen staff Chanzang and a monk's blade Jiao.
The tools of a warrior monk, a renegade.
He's basically equipping himself for the life he knows he's going back to, abandoning the pretense.
And the weight he asks for initially is just insane. 100 jin for the staff, that's like 120 pounds.
It's ridiculous. The blacksmith has to give him a reality check, a little history lesson. Points out that even Guan Yu's famous blade, the weapon of the god of war himself, was only 81 jin.
And Lu Zixuan's reaction?
Yeah.
Pure pride. That Jingao flares right up.
He basically says, what, you think I'm weaker than Guan Yu? I'm a man just like him. He refuses to be seen as anything less than legendary, superhuman even.
Glorious arrogance. So they compromise.
On 62 jin, still massive, about 74 pounds, water-ground steel, cost 5 ounces of silver. This whole transaction, it just confirms everything. He's buying the means to express the violence that the wine just, unlocked temporarily.
The weapon is the real symbol of his nature.
It's the physical manifestation of that untamed spirit.
And then the final little twist. He pays the 5 ounces.
And immediately offers the blacksmith the leftover change to buy him a bowl of wine.
To celebrate getting the tool that represents the violence he unleashed with the very thing that unleashed it in the first place.
The circle closes right there. He might have obeyed the elder on the surface for a few months, but the first chance he gets, the first glimpse of the outside world, it confirms. This monastic pass was never going to stick. Well, it starts with him trying to buy wine near the temple. But every single vendor turns him down flat.
Yeah, they're terrified. And it's because the elder, the head monk, has laid down the law, a a deal, a formal decree.
And the consequences aren't trivial.
Wait.
It's not like a small fine.
Oh, no, not at all. The vendors say point blank, if they sell wine to any monks, they lose their operating capital, basically their whole business, and they get kicked out of their homes.
Wow. So the elders really using economic leverage here to keep the monks in line.
Pretty much, yeah. It's effective social control. That is, until Lu Zhishan shows up. He's just persistent.
He keeps going, doesn't he?
Uh-huh.
Eventually, he finds his place way off the beaten path, a tiny, kind of rundown village tavern, not connected to the monastery at all.
Right, the Banken Xiujingdian. And the description paints such a picture, doesn't it? Totally different from the monastery. It's got like a grass broom for a sign, basic plank seats, fences made in brambles, even walls plastered with cow dung mud.
But decorated, right? With paintings of, what was it?
Wine immortals, Jin Jingyan. So it's like this little earthy shrine to getting drunk, the total opposite of the monastery's vibe.
Okay, so he sits down, finally gets his wine. How much does he actually put away?
Well, he starts with about 10 bowls, which is already quite a bit. But then he wants meat.
That's forbidden for monks, too?
Absolutely forbidden. They tell him the usual traveler's meat, beef, is gone, but he smells something else, cooking in a clay pot. Shaguzi is a dog, yeah. Which is, doubly taboo. Not just meat, but dog meat.
Okay, so this is where it crosses a major line.
A huge line. And he doesn't just taste it, he eats half the dog, dips it in garlic paste, just adding to the whole sensory assault he's about to unleash.
While drinking more.
Oh, yeah. Another 10 bowls or so. And then he demands an entire bucket of wine. You thinking?
An entire bucket.
Drinks the whole thing. And then, as if that wasn't enough, he rips off a dog leg, stuffs it into his robes to save for later.
Unbelievable. What of the shopkeeper?
The text says he's just speechless and utterly helpless, completely intimidated. What could he do?
Right. So he's tanked up, got his dog leg snack,
Yeah.
And now he heads back up the mountain. This is where it really escalates, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Section 2, the destruction phase. The alcohol hits him hard on the path. He feels restless, shantu kunjuanle.
Restless how? Like he wants to fight.
Kind of. He decides he wants to try out a few moves. Shinjulu Khan, like, practices martial arts.
Practice on what?
Well, first, the halfway pavilion. This rest stop structure on the way up. He doesn't just shadow box. He leans into one of the columns, Tingzi Zhu, with his elbow or shoulder. And he just snaps it. Tishile. The column breaks, and half the pavilion just collapses.
Wow. Okay, so his strength is literally structure destroying. He's not just drunk, he's a wrecking ball.
Exactly. And that's just the start. He gets to the main temple gate, but they've heard the commotion, maybe seen the pavilion, and they've shut the gates against him.
So he can't get in. What does he do? Attack the gate.
He goes for something even more symbolic. The giant guardian statues, the Jinggang flanking the entrance, these massive sacred figures meant to protect the monastery.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's serious sacrilege.
Totally. And he's specific about it. He yells at the left statue, calls him a bird big guy, Nikdaan, which is pretty disrespectful, and starts whacking its legs with a piece of broken wood until the plaster and paint chip off.
Just pure vandalism. And the other one?
He looks at the right guardian and decides it's laughing at him. Zankodaku yulaishashchina. So he hits its foot.
And what happens?
The whole thing just topples over, crashes down off its platform with this sound described as heaven-shattering. Yeah, Zantin Jessian.
A heaven-shattering sound. That feels significant.
Yeah.
Like the temple's spiritual defenses are literally crumbling.
That's a great way to put it. The monks inside, they absolutely panic. They run to the abbot, reporting everything the pavilion, the guardian statues, destroyed.
Okay, so now the elder has to act, right? This is direct destruction of sacred icons.
You'd think so. But this is where it gets really interesting. Section 3, the elder's response. He hears all this and chooses not to intervene directly.
Not to intervene. But why?
He quotes his very famous old saying, Zigdians shanki bizuhin. Even the Son of Heaven must avoid a drunkard.
Huh. So is that wisdom? Or is that just being scared, letting chaos win because it's dangerous?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? From one perspective, yeah, maybe it looks like neglecting his duty to protect the sacred space, but from another, maybe a more Taoist or just purely pragmatic view, it's recognizing a force you simply can't stop head-on. Trying to stop Lu Zhishan right then would just cause more damage, more violence.
So avoid the immediate conflict to preserve the bigger picture, the community.
Exactly. He's prioritizing the monk's safety and the institution's survival over a symbolic and probably bloody confrontation. He's treating Lu Zhishen like a natural disaster, not a misbehaving monk.
And this pragmatism extends to the repair costs, too, right? He doesn't seem worried about the massive damage bill.
Not immediately, no. He knows who sponsored Lu Zhishen to become a monk in the first place, this wealthy patron, Zhao Yuanwei. The elder basically says, don't worry, Zhao Yuanwei will pay to sculpt new ones and fix the pavilion.
So the spiritual institution relies on outside money to clean up its internal messes.
In this case, absolutely. The elder even says something really astonishing. He says, it doesn't matter even if he destroys the 3 world Buddhas in the main hall, there is nothing we can do but avoid him.
Wow. So the physical statues, even the main Buddhas, are secondary to just getting through this.
It seems so. The survival of the community, the institution itself, is paramount. Its power isn't just in its icons, but in its resilience. So they eventually, reluctantly, open the gate.
Why reluctantly?
Because Lu Zhishen is outside threatening to just burn the whole monastery down if they don't let him in.
Okay, so letting the pollution in is better than total destruction.
Seems to be the calculation. And once he's inside, well, the chaos really hits the heart of the monastery. Section 4.
Where does he go?
He stumbles into the monks' main hall, the Zun Fo Cheng or Song Tang. This is the meditation hall, the place for quiet contemplation, for spiritual practice.
Oh, dear. What does he do there?
First thing, he vomits. Right there on the floor where monks are meditating, fills the whole hall with this horrible stench.
Ugh. So it's not just noise and violence, it's actual physical pollution of the sacred space.
Completely. And then remember that dog leg he saved?
You're kidding. He pulls it out.
Pulls it out and starts gnawing on it. Right there in the meditation hall. The meditating monks, understandably, cover their faces and just try to get away.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just let them leave, does he?
No. He spots 2 monks trying to hide, and he goes after them, trying to shove the greasy, forbidden dog meat into their mouths.
Forcing them to share in his sacrilege.
Exactly. And when they resist, he just starts punching them on their heads. The text specifies Guang Nidai, shang their bald heads, hitting the very symbol of their monastic identity.
That's the breaking point, right?
That's what triggers the rolled-up hall general scattering, the Juntang Dasan. Everyone just grabs what they can and flees the hall. Total breakdown of order.
So the meditation hall is cleared out by violence and dog meat.
Pretty much, but there's one final act of violence that's maybe the most symbolic. Temple guards and other staff, maybe 100 or 200 of them, finally arrive armed, ready to take him down.
Okay, so a big confrontation now.
You'd think. But Lu Zhishen doesn't grab a weapon in the conventional sense. He goes to the front of the hall, to the altar table in front of the main Buddha statue, the Gongzuj,
The offering table.
the offering table, used for incense, offerings, prayers. He rips the 2 front legs off it.
Yeah.
Yes, and uses these table legs as twin clubs to fight off the entire armed crowd. He turns this object of sacred ritual into a weapon of profane violence.
That's the ultimate symbol, isn't it? Sacred order completely overturned by brute, profane force.
Absolutely. And it works. He drives them back. The institution's own force can't stop him.
So what finally stops it?
The elder appears. He orders everyone to stop fighting. And Lu Zhishen, who by this point the text says is 7 or 8 parts sober, geniagili, he actually listens.
He sobers up a bit and stops.
Drops the table legs. And then, interestingly, he turns to the elder and says, Zenkilo, yal yal, yezo zien, elder, help me. Tell me what to do.
Wow. So the aggression instantly turns back into seeking guidance once the peak drunkenness passes.
It seems that way. The elder, of course, realizes Lu Zhishen simply cannot stay. The cost is too high, the disruption too fundamental.
Does he just kick him out?
Not exactly. He handles it formally. He writes to the patron, Zhao Yuanwei. Zhao Yuanwei replies, says he'll pay for everything, the statues, the pavilion, all of it, and leaves Lu Zhishen's fate entirely in the elder's hands.
So the money smooths everything over again.
Yeah.
What does the elder decide?
Exile, essentially. But it's framed as a transfer. Lu Zhishen gets new clothes, new shoes, even 10 ounces of silver for the road.
Okay. Pretty lenient, considering.
But the most important thing the elder gives him isn't material. It's 2 things. A letter of introduction to another temple and 4 lines of verse. A kind of prophecy, a jian.
A prophecy, what does it say?
It basically outlines Lu Zhishen's future path. The elder isn't just getting rid of a problem. He's acknowledging and, in a way, launching Lu Zhishen's true destiny. He sees the bigger picture.
And that destiny isn't in a monastery.
Definitely not. The verse foretells that he's meant to battle the heroes and good fellows under heaven. and cut down slanderers and disloyal ministers on earth. He's destined for worldly conflict, for justice, eventually achieving great fame.
So the elder recognizes him as one of these destined figures from the novel, one of the 108 stars.
Exactly. This whole destructive episode, from the elder's perspective, wasn't just a drunken mistake. It was a necessary, maybe even ordained step for Lu Zixuan to find his true calling. The monastery was just too small, too restrictive for the kind of force he represents.